Are you caring for someone who has a chronic illness or disability? You have more protection at work than you think, and you don't need to be registered as a carer to get this protection. If the person you care for meets the criteria of a disabled person under the Equality Act, then you are covered by the Disability Discrimination by Association, which is part of the Equality Act 2010. And this protects you from being unfairly treated just because you look after a disabled person and are a carer. So this could be they can't refuse you promotion because you're a carer. It could be things that are said at work that could be classed as discrimination. You have the right to ask for flexible working conditions as well. And that's a legal right. So you might want to stay to the end of this video because there's another change to the Carers Act, which came in last year. So stay to the end of this video. For those of you who haven't seen me before, I'm Nadia. I run Chronic Care HR and Support, which is aimed at offering advice and support and HR specialist. I used to work in HR for people living with chronic illness and their carers. So go have a look in my link tree here. I've got a shop and hub there with loads of information and things to help people living with chronic illness that are trying to work or who are trying to navigate living with a chronic condition. So you can ask for flexible working, and you can ask for that from day one. We're covered from day one of starting work. You used to have to wait like 26 weeks. You don't have to do that anymore since last year. You can ask for time off for dependents. And obviously, if you've got a child that's got a chronic illness or disability, you've got parental leave for dependents as well to ask for there. Now, although you don't have all the same protections as a disabled, chronically ill person would, so for example, they can ask for something called reasonable adjustments. You don't have the right to ask for that, but you are allowed to ask for 2 flexible working requests per year within a 12-month period. It doesn't have to be like January to December, so just if you start in the May, you've got from that May to the following April to put in 2 requests. So that could be your first request is you asked to work flexibly from home, so you might work from home 2 days a week. But then your second request could be something like once a month I work from home full time, like once a week, like 1 week per month sort of thing, or something like that. Now, with the flexible working, your employer has 2 months to respond, and he must or she must consult, which means they have to involve you in the discussions if they say no. They can't just say, oh, we've asked so-and-so and they've said no. You have to be involved in the discussions if they say no. So you have to have a meeting, you have to be involved in that, and if they don't follow that, then that's them not meeting their legal obligations as an employer, and that again could go down as you could put in a grievance for that, and that could be classed as disability discrimination by association. So they've got procedures that they've got to follow as well. So they need to consult properly. They can't just say no. But remember, this is a right to request, not a right to receive. So, as long as they've done the full consultation process and they've investigated fully and not just ignored you or not just said no straight away, then, you've got the right to have that consulted properly. And if you don't feel that it is, then you can take things further. And you can ask me for advice. You can contact me on chroniccareadvice@gmail.com, or you can go in my link tree, which is in my bio. There's tons of advice in there for disabled people, but if you've got anything specific, you can use my email service, which you can also purchase in there for any particular situations that you're dealing with personally. So thanks for staying to the end, and this is what I want to talk to you about. The Carers Act 2023 changed last year to protect you as a carer from day one. And again, you don't need to be a registered carer. You just have to be looking after someone at home with a chronic illness or disability that is classed as a disability under the criteria for the Equality Act 2010. And you have the right to 1 week in every 12-month period, unpaid leave to have off as a carer. You are allowed to have that on top of everything else I've mentioned. And you are covered from day one for this. So that's what changed. And you also don't have to give proof. So if you want some time off as a carer to look after the disabled person because they've got some treatment, or they've got some appointments, or they're just having a really bad flare up, or they're just not going, they can't be left alone, maybe they're suffering with depression linked with their condition, then you're allowed to request that, and you're allowed that rolling every 12 months. The other thing that changed is the notice that you need to give. So if you're only having one day, then you need to give 3 days notice, and anything like more than that, so multiple days, it needs to be twice the amount of the leave. So for example, if you're having 3 days off, then you'd need to give 6 days notice. And your employer has 1 month, they can postpone it only for serious, if it seriously disrupts the business, they can postpone it for 1 month, but no more than that. So yeah, hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Give me a like, give me a follow, share this video for anyone else who might need this information. Take care.